A few weeks ago I mentioned that I would be starting a series called What is Church? The idea behind the series is to take a close look at what the Bible, more specifically the New Testament, says about what church is or should be. So, what is church? Well, in Matthew 16:18, Jesus said, "On this rock I will build my church." But what did Jesus mean when he said church? Is it a building? When many of us think about church, we think of a building. After all, when we think of the First Apostolic Baptist Church of the Living King, we often think of the building that they own or use. Often when we talk about going to church, we are talking about a building. But is that really what church is? Or is it an hour on Sunday morning when we gather for worship and other church stuff? Sometimes we talk about going to church, and we're talking about a Sunday morning gathering. It may even occur on another time of the week, but we're talking about a worship service when we talk about going to church. But is that right? Is it a corporation? According to the government, a church is a corporation. In fact, Journey Church is a corporation in the state of Florida and has been identified as such by the IRS. But is that what the Bible is talking about when it talks about church? Maybe it's a person. In some cases, a given body of believers can come to be identified by the person who started the church, or maybe the current pastor. It can be that when we think or talk about that church, we can't help but think of that specific person. But is that one person the church? Is it the people? I've been in church my entire life. For all of that time, I have been told that church is the people. But what does that mean? I don't even know. Clearly, there are lots of different views of what church is. But what did Jesus mean when he said church? Well, first off, Jesus didn't actually say church. Church is an English word that was introduced many years after Jesus' time to describe what Jesus was talking about. So what did Jesus say? The word Jesus used was ecclesia. Ecclesia means a gathering of people together for a particular purpose. It actually referred to any gathering of people for a particular purpose. So this could be a group of gathered for worship. This could be a group of government officials. This could be any other gathering of people together for a specific church. A specific purpose, that is. So, church is a gathering. When we come together for worship or any other purpose, it is church. The same word is used several other times in the New Testament. And 1 Corinthians 11:18 says, "When you gather as a church." This refers to the gathering even as Jesus did in Matthew. 1 Corinthians 4:17 says, "Just as I teach everywhere in every church." It refers to different churches in different areas. Romans 16:5 says, "Greet also the church that meets in their home." Refers to a group of believers that met in the home of Priscilla and Aquila. Acts 9:31 says, "So the church through all Judea, Galilee, and Samaria." Clearly, such a widespread area could not have referred to people gathered at the same location. Rather, it refers to what I call the Big C church, that includes all Christians everywhere. So, what is church? Church is a gathering. Church can take place in a big building with lots of people. Church can take place with a few people in a home. Church is people. Church is people gathered to serve each other. Church is people gathered to serve our community. Church is people gathered to worship. Church is people gathering to get to know one another better. Church is people gathering to show their love for one another and for Jesus. So church is people, and church is a gathering. But that's not all. Be sure to check back next week when we take another look at the question, what is church? To make sure you never miss an installment, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find it by searching My Journey FL on YouTube. You can also subscribe to our videos on Facebook. Did you know that that feature was there? And neither did I. But you can. Be sure to like our page and subscribe to our videos on Facebook. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message or email me at matt@myjourneyfl.com. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.